next flower is one of my favorites as well, and it's the peony. I'm going to show you a couple of different techniques this time. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a stamen that's just a little bit more loose for the interior of this one. And I'm going to take a really lightly dyed green coffee filter, and I'm going to go ahead, just like I did before with my stamen, I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm actually going to fold it in half again. Now, I'm not going to go any smaller than this, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to start and go quite a ways down with my cuts, and I'm going to make my cuts pretty close together, closer together than I probably made them earlier, because I want to create a lot of little stems, or whatever you call these, stamen, in the middle here. So you just kind of come in here and you cut until you get to the end. Now, these are now folded over. What I'm going to do is come in and cut the little tops off of these, because I don't want them folded over anymore. I want them loose, okay? So I just cut off a really small part of that. And as we've done in the past, I'm going to come in and put that in, and I'm going to just do this one, and I'm going to roll it a little bit looser than I have my other ones. And the reason being is I want this stamen to be a little bit looser. So roll, 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 roll. And you can see we're already getting that loose feel on that stamen on the inside. Go ahead and secure it at the end. Now, a little different than the other one, because if you look at this one, it's very tight, and there's actually a little loop on the end of this one. This one, what I did is I left it very loose because I cut the tops off. Now I am going to give it a little trim so that it's all somewhat even. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. But now you've got more of a fringy, almost pom-pom-like center here. Oh, and by the way, if you want to make a flower with this, you can do this, or if you want to do a filler for the vase. So as an example, if I wanted to pop this in here and use it as a filler that kind of stuck up a little bit higher than the other one, I could do that. And you would use obviously more coffee filters, so maybe a 6 again, and you could create a really big version of this, which actually could just be a flower kind of resembling a mum as well. All right, so that's the difference I did on this one. Now on this flower, I'm going to go ahead and take my 2 coffee filters again. As I mentioned earlier though, I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold just like I've done before, fold twice, and I'm only going to fold 3 times on this one because I want to create some nice big flower petals for the peony. And as I'm going to cut it, I'm going to make it more like a heart shape on the top, except for it's not going to be a perfect heart. It's going to be a cut that has a little bit higher petal and one that's lower. All right, I've got all that together. Open it up. And as always, I have my 2 petals that are cut together. I'll be honest with you, I'm not so sure that I like the fact that that is not really very deep. So guess what? You can kind of come back in here and you can give it a little bit more depth by just kind of coming in and going a little deeper with those cuts. You can always change that. So open it up, and here's what you have. All right, I'm going to take my 4 that I've cut already, and remember, what did I do with those? I actually staggered them. What I'm going to do a little bit differently this time is I'm going to put these on the stem a little bit differently. I am going to fold them again, but right in the middle of this, and you can find out where that is by just folding it, I'm going to cut just a little slit there, okay? And I'm going to open these back up. Now, I'm going to do this differently because I want you to show you that this will help you create more of that full effect with the leaves. Now, as I mentioned, I did do the stamen with this particular color in a little bit different, fluffier. And when I open up my flower, actually, if I cut them all properly, I should have just a little bit of a hole right in the middle of this. Hard to see here, but what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to take and I'm going to put that hole through the stamen, through the stem, and I'm going to push it up into the stamen. And then I'm just going to kind of use my fingers and I'm going to fold it just a little bit up there. Guess what I'm going to do? The same thing for each one of these. It appears that I'm going to have to cut each one of these a little slit in the bottom because I didn't grab them all the first time around. And I'm going to come up through the bottom again and I'm going to layer that again like so. Let's keep going. And looks like I do have a hole in this one already. So go ahead and take that one. Go ahead and take your fourth one. And again, I'm kind of staggering where I have the flower petals. Here is number 5. And finally, we've got number 6. All right, now, what do you have? You have this kind of loose, open flower. That's kind of fun, isn't it? It's nice and big. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my hand, I'm going to cup it together a little bit, and I'm just going to kind of create a little bit of a, what I want to say, fold on the bottom here. So I've gathered these up, and I'm going to put a little glue down here, sort of to hold them all together in the shape that I want it. And then I have a fuller flower to work with. Now, what am I going to do right now? I am going to make sure that I put my leaves on the bottom of this right away because that will actually help hold the entire thing together on the bottom. So let's go ahead and put a couple leaves on the bottom here to hold this all in place. And, oh, I got a big glob there. I'll go ahead and put this on. And now I have a much different shape in my peony than I had before. Now you can do this the other way, everybody. You can go ahead and fold it over itself like you did on the other ones. But I just wanted to show you a little different method. The only downside of this method is you might not get the fold exactly the way you want it, because that's a little bit kittywampus. But I can just go back in and I can add a couple more folds into the bottom here and adjust it. So what am I going to do with this now? Well, I'm going to shape it a little bit more. I'm going to pull some of these out and I'm going to open them up so that we have a little bit fuller flower here. And there is an alternate method of making flowers that are a little bit looser. I will see you in the next video.